Just a few more minutes. Okie dokie. That laptop is not going to work where it's at, and I wanted to start something else. What? Okay. Hey, okay. I promise you are. Alrighty. It has been some while and some time since we futzed. And I need to slide some stuff around still. Aha. Laptop's still in the wrong spot. I cannot see the chat. I can see the chat. Could turn that light on a little bit. Raise this up a little bit more. And it's a little bit easier for me to see. Yay. 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 I'll go ahead and let that start getting wet and soaking. So I can deal with that in a second. Okay. So tonight is a night of futzing. And we're going to need some Morning Sky. No, we're not. I need the art book. I need to get back to the bone color that I used on his face, and I need to get to some other things that I was working on. So in the art book, and find the correct page. There's the page where it talks about non-metallic metal. There's a page talking about purple. There's the page talking about the cute cold face. So I have so many posts to make, and I think I'm going to start making. I need my laptop to make. I hate typing without a keyboard on phones and stuff sometimes, and the keyboard on tablets just forever bothering. So we have the skull face as a reminder of where we left off, is a base layer of kiwi brown to lighten it and anatomical shapes, mixing cold yellow but without reaching pure yellow. I still add some ivory white to lighten the shade to create light yellow but not too bright. Various layers interspiced with veils of almost pure yellow and a hint of kiwi brown. To enforce the idea of the evil color suited, I add veils of cobalt blue green. This immediately puts the body tone in relation as well. Let's not forget that priming in a deep rusto on the bottom helps create cohesive atmospheric effects. So, I need some colors that are not in this box. Definitely need my ivory. And then the rest of this can be put away. So, for the bone aspects of this figure itself right now, I'm going to turn the exposure up. Okay, excellent. For his face, I feel like I am mostly there there are some little flubs that I made that need to get cleaned up. I also want to look at the bone color that I have on here once I get the horns mounted on his face. Because once I mount the horns, essentially this half of the face becomes unreasonable and I can't adjust anything on it. So, with that being said, we're going to set this down a little bit, slide some stuff around, and we have our handy dandy wet palette all ready to rock and roll. Yay, wet palette. Playing solo currently as the cat decided to more post. All right. All post. But I am alive. Yay. So, love. I need a glove for all the love. And I need to shake up my paint and that glove rip. I am also going to get the ground brown out as well, just to have it at the ready. While I wait for things to dry, and I find other pages in my book really quick that I need. Which is right there. Never mind. Oh. And how I did it, I outlined for myself in direction. Gold, Burden Grime. Burden Grime and gold. Gold brown, bone cocky, and then bone cocky to all white. That's how I managed to do that. Yay, me. Sleeves rolled up, and I want to check the sound levels as I shake these. So, nailed it. What's up, nerd? What's up? What? Okay, so we're gonna get a ground brown. What? What do you mean? Why do you feel like I have not given you enough attention today? Hmm? Get your anti ball and bring it over. Excuse me. Oh, there we go. Okay, now I'm ready. I hope. Focus this camera really quick, though. We're gonna get ground brown. What is your deal? Huh? I want a little bit of the ground brown. I want missing kiwi brown. Oh, what happened? What happened? What slight have I inconvenienced you with? A little bit kiwi brown, cobalt green, blue green. Gold yellow with a little bit of white. I'm kind of curious. Straighten this up some. Hold it down just a little bit more. Can I? Get this. Stay just like that. Pull this camera a smidge more. So if it's like that, maybe It would help. Maybe not. Cool. But I have tried. And that is what is important. What? I am trying to be productive today. Can I help you? Hmm? Hmm? What? I'm not making loud noises right now. What? Hmm? Actually, I want to turn this around. Okay. So, I need my thinning agent. I need to shake up. There we go. So we're going to get some kiwi brown, yellow, the two together. I had flupsed. Quite a bit on the underside here, or just enough that I could see the red. Zoom in a little bit. All right. So for his teeth, I have a choice. I could go to the same high yellow, cold yellow, or I could follow the same bone recipe that I was following down here. Access to all of that, so it's going to be good. So I'm just looking to see if I want to modify or brighten up or darken down anything. Like I still need to do the teeth on this side and this side right here, obviously. which is going to require the magnifying glass, which really need to figure out what I'm going to do. Damn thing. Alrighty. Well, that kind of works a little bit better right there. For me, anyway. So, old yellow coffee and kiwi. Just a hint of the cold yellow again. I'm just trying to work to even up both the sides. Alright. Now it's had time to dry. Old yellow white mix. And start to bring it up. I just realized that I had some pretty gnarly magentas on the underside of the eye and it was bothering me. Because it wasn't supposed to be there. Again, the eyelid. Wanted to introduce some cobalt blue green, just kind of as a thin glaze in a couple of spots too. Just kind of show off, kind of like that cold, bluey magic, Skeletor stuff. All right. Now we got to do some teethers. Teethers. All right. We're going to lower our magnifying glass back into place. And I'm going to hold the model up and I can see it very clearly, and it is not giving me the dizzies. I want to take some cold yellow. Oh, sure. Aha. Nailed it. While I let that dry, I'm going to get a thick brush really quick. And I want some ground brown. We're just gonna kind of get sloppy. Just work around the base really quick. Skip over the skulls. Try to make sure as much of the black is covered as I can. Okay, if it's a little patchy, I'll be honest. We are not done with this base, and it's going to be a while before it's one of the reasons why is because we're going to paint a combination of this cobalt blue green and this kiwi brown really quick. Onto these skulls. Why? Because I like the. I think it's good. rinse brush out. I'm going to lower my desk. 1 second. Yeah, I'm going to have to go by more stores tomorrow. I got to go to more stores anyway, but I'm going to want to find to do laptop stand. I don't like this one at all. I originally liked it, but I'm not really liking how it's working right now. So we will have to get a new one of those. All right. So with some of that dry, I'm going to take cold yellow. And we're going to start working. Bring it in closer. Set enhance. Also, don't move while you're enhancing. This camera does not like it. So we're going to take some of the mixture again. Brush out because it's drying too quickly. One of the nicer parts about working with the thin layers of cold yellow, kiwi brown, I feel like it really helps give that really weird undead vibe to the bone. Like it's more of a greeny bone than it is a um I don't want to say unrealistic. Cold yellow. Some more ivory. Ivory, but first you need to take a sip of water. Well, I've taken a sip of water. I'm going to pick it back up again. And now I've super zoomed in so I can see both the camera and the model in my hand. We're going to take some. Hello. Get it right. Rinse off our brush before we do so. And I don't know why. Hands braced. I hope this doesn't wash out anything. Turn the exposure down. Refocus. Excellent. All right. Alrighty. Now, all of that ready. White, gold, yellow, or ivory in our gold yellow. Highlight. Bits of the teeth. And we can do this in multiple layers. It's probably best to do multiple layers. Simply so we don't overflood and overpower. Rinse brush up. But the more I move it to the right, easier it would be to have the cat camera. Oh, challenges. All right. Hands braced, posture fixed. Breath. In and out. Highlight it up. I think I'm going to take the teeth up to a pure ivory, just to make it interesting. Because hmm. Quartz, and I can get be comfortable. All right. So once again, round we go. Just touching bits and pieces of the model. And here we go. Okay. With that done, I think I'm going to jump to ivory in a second. Like how this laptop's taking off. CPU power 1.5%. Maintaining 5 frames per second, 60 frames per second, and live for an hour. It's okay, laptop. I promise. I want the ivory next. That might be too thin. You want to unload. So we're gonna pick this guy up again. Um, with that white in there, it is definitely reading differently, and I like that. Now, I need to see how something in a moment or two. I'm gonna take a break and let my eyes rest from that. I'm gonna get my jig, chunky boy brush, turn up my exposure, zoom out, and refocus. And I want to get my ground brown. And I want to work around the bottom of my base again. This is just as a quick and dirty way to quiet the brain. and feel like I'm being accomplished with the model. Get the quick W's going. And it feels good. I mean, not that getting the teeth and the face just right isn't feeling accomplished. It's just getting some of this last bit of like large black areas covered. Kind of satisfying. Like a weird way. Feels weird that I started this model in October. Essentially when I started the stream. Hello, child. How are you? Oh, really? Oh, what happens? Do you feel like I ignored you all day? I promise it was not intentional. I had to go to the container store and buy things to contain things, because quite a bit of mess going on here. And you got a new place to, like, cat parkour from. I know I've taken away other spots because I filled in the shelves, but, you know, all good. Okay. Will it help if I try to turn the thing back on again? Does that help? Alright, and with that base coat, I'm going to come around really quick with the skulls. I did not expect the cobalt blue green and kiwi brown to give such an interesting green brown color. Was not expecting. Half expecting that I thought going to royally screw up something that is starting to look kind of fun. So let's see. Have my skulls nice and base coated as well. In a different color altogether. Quite honestly, I think one of the more interesting parts that's going to be on this model is the separation of all the different types of bone. The antlers on his tabard here, his face style, these here, and then the horns right here, I feel like should all be different. I don't feel like they should be the same. Like I didn't know how I was going to feel about this green brown kind of thing that I got going on, but I'm going to tell you, I'm kind of digging it right now. So we're going to, you know, finish the face really quick. I say really quick. It's been Lord knows how many hours now. Um, and we're going to glue it on, and we're going to glue on his antlers. And we're going to see how this looks together and how it's starting to look together. and it's going to start coming together. Hey, sorry about that. New username. Some things aren't quite working out. Uh, Honestly, I started in 2019. Um, I am very much an amateur. Very much, very much. Uh, what is going to show amateur? What about Dixie? I see you over here. Oh, that's going to look much better. Hello, child of mine. She's a little challenged right now, but I'll get there. Um, this is work that I'm following with Belmonth. It's from the Tenbray Kickstarter from Chimera, and I was following a lot of the directions in here. I mean, a lot of it's with my own spin, quite honest. Some of it is better, some of it is good. But I definitely feel like I'm an amateur. No, it it is progress over progress. Um, I started this model in October of last year. I revitalized the stream and I believe this piece and the antlers. No, this piece alone was 2 hours. Each segment of the skin, I believe, is about 4 hours of work at each. Um, I really wanted to slow down on this model and take the time to explore and follow the directions, or not really the directions, but some of the directions that was given off by Fabrio is his name. I give credit where credit is due. Um, yeah. So Fabrio Ruzio, please don't come at me. Um, I have not placed well within Reddit painting championships. I do not wish to be the Golden Deep Games Workshop. I've considered entering some of the Reaper stuff. I just haven't pushed to it. I have seen other work, and trust me, I feel very much like an amateur. What was I looking for? I was looking for that box art. Yeah, this is true. Uh, I was following the box art. The reason for the specifics of the art book that was provided by Chimera through the Kickstarter was for this. I really like the villain that's on the box and said, I want it and I'm going to paint it by golly. Fabrio does an amazing job. I feel like his blends are a lot better and smoother than what I have done, but I feel like I have something that I can claim as mine, and it's very important that it is mine. But you are right. What I figured was a mid level during one of the competitions had people doing non-metallic chrome, and I'm like, how am I supposed to compete with that? Um, oh shit, my other wall is all jacked up. Ain't finding it. Ain't worth it right now. But thank you for your kind words. It is. It very much is. It's like here, we want to make the shiniest surface possible known to man. But how do you want me to do that? Well, you get it super shiny. 1 second as I fight with a. I would like to zoom in. Thank you. I don't have an actual zoom function on this. I have just manual zoom. I wanted to look at his teethers, and I feel like, come on, there you go. I feel like I need some separation between different teeth on the bottom part, because it looks like it's one big thing right now. It would probably be closer to red green, to be honest. He was a redneck comedian on PBS back in the day that just did all kinds of dumb things. I am stateside, yes. That is. I am on the east coast of the United States of America, waiting for the impending doom. I want some of this. I want some of this. I have heard of Red Dwarf. Um, there's a handful of British comedians that I can actually get into and behind. Blame Terry Pratchett. He ruined quite a bit of it for me. I did try to read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy a couple of times. And I'm up to the restaurant at the end of the universe. Oh, of course it doesn't. I need to turn the exposure down, dummy. It helps when you turn the exposure of the camera down and zoom. There we go. Now you can kind of see what I was talking about a little bit. The teeth on the bottom don't have separation as much as the top does. So the top, depending on how you look at it, has that dark brown layer in between. I need to reestablish that because I am a genius and I painted over it. We're going to get some of our kiwi brown and see if we can just reinstate some of those lines a little bit. Monty Python translated pretty well, but that tends to be more of a classic hit anyway. Okay, that's not going to work the way I want it to work. I need a different color really quick. And I have you. One of the conventions I. One second. Uh, one of the conventions I attend, they have a British track, and the British are trying to invade and take over this Trek track, but that's not working out well. Apparently, Garrett Wing is fighting quite extensively at that. I want to put this there. So, Deep Rusto from Chimera Colors is a color that Fabio uses quite extensively in creating his base. That purple that you cannot see at the very bottom of my is way too bright or way too dark for what I want. I need to introduce more kiwi brown. But I ended up in one of the Monty Python fan panels, and there were people waiting to get in, and they were pissed. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I was in there for 10 minutes, and they got through the whole witch skit, and I was like, okay, I leave now. I go find my other panel. And you can almost instantly see the different tooth here on the corner versus the left of that. And then we're going to do the same thing. Underneath. Deep breath. And just. I'm giving you shaky cam. I am so sorry. Turn the model around a little bit. I feel like if he could speak, scream. I am the Dark Lord of all of Eternia. How dare you turn me upside down, trot a line in between the teeth. I've never been to Comic Con. Mine is local to the city I'm at. I've done PAX East. Back when Jesse and Dodger were young. Lord Almighty, they were young. I've done those. They're fun. Different world. It is a very different of a world. That's the biggest one I've ever been to in the Arcade Expo. I feel like it was the biggest one. I don't know if it was actually the biggest one. I think mine gets a little bit bigger, but they tend to be a very different ball game altogether. Comic Con, I don't know if I would personally take the time to go up and see it. All right. So I just kind of want to look around really quick while I think about what I was saying about Comic Con. Is that I move magnifying glass out of the way. Look at your model and zoom this camera out. And enhance. So I'm focusing today futzing on the face because one of the goals that I want to have is I want to put on his little earpiece. Little earpiece. And once I put his ears on, I don't have a lot of easy access to the face again. So now is the time to futz. But there was a couple on the UK side that I know tend to pop off. Jesse Cox goes over and he did. That's where Jesse Con actually started. At one point, one of the YouTubers. So with some, you, hold on. So we have the dragon on a base. We have a hair piece. We have her, which now has this glued on, the arm glued on, but nothing else yet. We got the little bonnet on the back side. We got the koi that goes around the front side. And then we got a little hair dangly piece. Work on 32, work on a bus, they said. It'll be fun, they said. It'll be easy, they said. Fucking sub-assemblies I didn't tell you about. So I knew to keep it in separate pieces because the moment I saw how this laid, when I primed him originally. I was like, there's no way you can get in there and paint the details that you want to paint. So I specifically kept it off, and I can kind of see where I'm going to need on the top side to line in some pieces as well. Um, so I'm following box art on that one a little bit. I like the pink kimono and the vibes. There's another one that I have from the Jewels collection that has a warrior face mask. Um, when I get to it, I'm probably going to reference Bleach and um, one of the captains that has the Bankai with his two ladies. One of them's a woman trying to kill him, and I saw the colors that she wore, and I was like, I want to paint that, and I have just the model for it. I am sorry if I accidentally Joe. My cat has decided that the back of my chair is the most comfortable spot. Yeah. If you're watching Thousand Year War, they just got an upgrade or they just got promoted kind of deal. Um, the lady's name that's coming to my head is Arena, Ohrani, I think. Um, she likes to kind of tell the stories, but one second. Uh, this model here made me think of her. Hard to tell on the view, but she's kind of a warrior in sense, and she kind of wears like the big traditional Japanese style headdress. Yeah. Yeah. So the Kenpachi, it's I like him as well, Yorichi, but unfortunately I haven't come across anything that gives me the same type of vibe. So when I get to it, I will definitely when I find something that inspires that, I will. But I was watching Thousand Year War recently and saw that anime pop up. I was like, I have that model and it's going to get painted that way. So I'll have to look up the reference art for her at some point and then try to break it down, which will be in 2025. When? Don't ask. Um, but I'm looking at his face and seeing if there's any area that I need to futz. And I do need to futz back under his eyelid again because when I was painting the magenta in his eyes, I did not get it quite right. 362 days to decide. You are correct. I was at the meat market today, and one of the guys was being sassy, and he goes, we have another 365 days till we get. He brings in a brisket chili again. I said, you are correct, and he started to try to do the math because realizing it was the new year, we all started laughing because he couldn't quite get the math just right. So good days are good. Let me turn the exposure up some. I mean, usually does. You get a bunch of goofballs hanging around at the store, shouting at each other over the counter. It happens. Uh, he tends to enjoy the brisket chili that I will make when I smoke it. So, all right. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with that freaking magnifying glass. I was using when I made the briskets. I think it was the Traeger Meat Church blend, which was hickory and post oak. So the leftover brisket that got used in it was smoked with that, and then it's a pound of ground brisket fresh and a pound of venison, which is deer, with a shit ton of tomatoes, and then it smokes overnight. And for that, I was using um, a new wood pellet that I found, which I feel like has better smoke penetration. Oh yeah, it's a very Texan style chili, so it's essentially leftover smoked cube brisket, ground brisket, venison, fire roasted tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, two red onions, a crap ton of garlic, and chipotle and adobo sauce all mixed together. It is a very delicious chili. I have eaten it several times, and I can tell you that if there were awards, it could win. I don't always get stuff for the glory. Using the gold yellow on skin under the eyes to brighten it up. Gold yellow and so one of the things that's kind of weird about the art book and Fabrio's discussion is that he will often say use ivory to help lighten stuff up. Um, but Chimera technically does not have an ivory color in any of its sets. So all of the artist sets have um, nothing. Oh, sorry. I'm not sorry. I do a lot of things. I need to check something out really quick. Please forgive me. Nightbot is not wanting to work tonight. Probably because I changed my username. If you're curious about any socials where you can find me, those are the same place. I've managed to get my username to line up with all of that. I do stream both on the YouTube side, both vertical and horizontal, in case it's more consistent. And Fire Grim GM. What games do you play? Also, that's where all the VODs from Twitch when the streams are up. It does not save the music on the YouTube side. There is no music side, so maybe a little dull, but I do ramble to myself quite a bit. Ah, what is Shiver? That's one that's not jumping out in my head right now. at some point, I do have a bunch of stories lining up in my head for like, is it in terms of Grim Hollow, or more horror oriented or less horror oriented? When he makes it on stream, are you going to be interested or not? Assuming he makes it on stream. Oh, I see. Oh, that's actually kind of fun. So you use parts of those one shot for your homebrew rights. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, a Scooby Doo parody always sounds like fun. I mean, to be fair, that is a sound argument. Nobody likes Scrappy Dog. Futzing a little bit here and there. Um, it's not the first time I've actually heard that argument. Someone has made that joke before in Imager, or it might have been somewhere else. Just because how is Scrappy supposed to survive for so long? Boom. Actually, sounds kind of fun. Because I mean, to so I don't know if you've ever watched The Boys, but one of the aside from the gore and the stupidity in it, one of the interesting ways that they control with Homelander, um, if you keep watching it into its latest season, it's interesting kind of, or you see it a lot in the beginning episodes, how they kind of realized that they needed to do something with Homelander to keep him in check. So what they did is they flat out admit it later on is that they kind of create a like they specifically start to install a praise king, and he requires validation and acceptance from everybody, like strangers. Everyone requires he requires it like a great deal. And I thought that was really interesting because they're like, and he was like angry and he's like pissed off and he's like yelling at them and screaming and he's like, they're like, what did you want us to do? How are we supposed to control you when you're when you were born? You basically bursted out and nothing can hurt you from day one. I'm like, that's actually kind of fair. So you specifically installed and fought with him to put in a praise king, and you had to like navigate and um. So Black Noir was supposed to be his. In the comics, it's different. In the TV show, it's different. Um, in the comics, he was actually the a failed clone, or somewhat of a clone of Homelander. Yeah, he was supposed to be an evil clone, is what it was. In case he ever went rogue, um, they had a way to fight him. However, in the TV show, they changed that aspect, and they never created the evil with Black Noir. Spoilers. Yeah, it. I thought it was kind of interesting, an interesting change to something like that because it seems like a very very small detail and like a way to deal with the supposed scale, like power scaling a little bit. Uh, oh, I never watched the comics. I went to a comic book store because I would often watch the um who was it that was doing it? Some YouTube guy did a bunch of recaps about different aspects of the story about where they were going and how they were getting there kind of deal and kind of like the interesting ways that they started because I mean it was like they're obviously doing what they want and they don't care. Okay. Um so yeah, that the MCU, I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. It's kind of on my I don't really care for it right now list. The DCU is interesting right now with James Gunn at the helm. He supposedly there's been interviews with him talking about the new Superman movie that's coming out, which I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. just yet because I want to make sure that it's going to be in a successful place before I want to know that it's not going to be like just another DC movie that falls apart in the third act completely. I am dabbing super glue onto a toothpick and dropping it into the area that I want. Oh, I I saw the trailer for it, and the moment I saw him calling for crypto, I was like, "Oh, son of a bitch! This is going to be a good movie, probably." Because I mean, it's James Gunn is someone that has been very interested in comics, and I mean, he's done a really good job on other things. Yeah, yeah. There's colors. There's crazy. I'm gonna move the playing card to the side that has the super glue on it, and I'm going to put the right side on the right side of the face. That would have been backwards. It does. It does help. I can attest. And while we wait, we can grab this side. And this is the one that requires some negotiation. Get in the right spot. Oh wow. It feels completely and utterly. Yeah. Um, my dad was assembling a model motor that I got him for last Christmas. And he got some plastic cement. I don't know why. Like, there's no, like, you got like these three big tubes of Testarossa super glue that he never ended up using all of it. He's like, "What do I do with it?" I'm like, "I have no need for it. All of my stuff is super glue based. I don't need that, and that can go into the trash." Holy cow! You are growing so nicely, good sir. I do have some sprue glue downstairs. I did assemble some Warhammer miniatures at one point in my life, but I never used all that much. Supposedly, that wyvern that I have supposed to use sprue, supposed to use Temia thin cement, plastic cement, but it, it's it's I don't know what it is about me and that stuff. People are like, "Oh, it's the models that you're supposed to use it on." Does not seem to work all. I am taking some of my cobalt blue and my kiwi brown again. I want to let it And I want to start painting my skulls here really quick. Hmm. I've never thought about using resin as a binder to glue stuff together, or I guess as a weld, really. This is a Chimera model, it's all resin, so unfortunately sprue glue and plastic cement won't really work all that well, so I have to use super glue. I thought I had gel, but apparently I do not. All I had was super runny kind. I was like, oh well, it'd have to be my life. I typically tend to prefer to use the gel. Yeah. See how for it to work a little bit better. The gel, I feel like can sometimes create stronger bonds, but at the same time, it's weird with me. But I haven't used it in a while, so well, I ran out. There was a time when I'd go to the store and I'd buy a bunch and be like, "Oh, I need super glue," and then I go to use the super glue and I'm like, "All of the super glue bottle is completely and utterly hard. I can't use this right now." Oh, that's why, dummy. Super glue is a terrible thing, and there was a little bit of air that was leaking into the package, and now it's hard. Thanks. I'm just futzing around with the skull right now. Wondering what I want to do with it, or what I want to do on these bases. So, the official box art will have green glow coming from this. I don't really like the green glow. Apparently, I'm not really digging a blue glow either. I don't know if I really want to mess with it. It could just be a puff of the airbrush, but I don't. There's something about it that I don't really like when it comes to objects for sliding sometimes. So what I thought was is to paint in some of the um, cracks and crevices down here. Cobalt, maybe, and see if I can create some visual interest. Along here. By utilizing a blue-green color. Hmm. Stump. Rising ground. Yep, all kind of work. So I did kiwi and cobalt blue green on the skull down here, and you can kind of see how it's. If I drop green and yellow into these eyes, the mouthpiece would kind of pop out a little bit. It'd be kind of interesting. I didn't expect it to work that way, but it did. Hello, old yellow. There's a lot of purple on this model. A lot of purple. A lot of purple. This tabard, belt, gauntlets, base pieces. Oh, it would tie into the theme. I don't disagree with you on that. Um, but I don't know how I'm feeling about the glow. I think that's one of the last items in the book anyway, and it's that might be an executive decision to skip. It would. It's just I don't. I'm I'm struggling with internally. Just go with. I like. I, it's it's interesting. It definitely is. Because it's now it would be one of the hilarious jokes for Skeletor to always have like power leaking around in different spots. See, I'm not a huge sucker for OSL. People could talk about OSL and be like, "Oh, look, the OSL makes it so much better." I'm like, to me, so it was 52 Miniatures did it, and then Vince Ventrilla also did a video about this as well, where he talked about red and blue. So he took blue from one direction and then red from one other direction, or it was red from this direction. And one of the things that came out from the 52 Miniatures video that I really liked and enjoyed was he was talking about how much he had to paint the model normally anyway before he could do the OSL effect. Like it didn't seem to bother him one way or the other. Like he had to do all this work and then it got to the really scary part where he was like, now I have to paint this blue. Or I have to paint this red coming from this direction as I stab my brush. Don't stab your brush, kid. Um it was one of the more interesting YouTube videos that 52 did. And then Vince was talking about it specifically within Marvel and movie posters for like a really long time is that when you did the blue and red directions, it always stuck out in your mind for like everything up to Infinity Game or Endgame, and how all the Marvel posters would be done that way. Blade Runner was done that way. Blade Runner was one of the very first to actually do it with Harrison Ford, not the remake or the sequel, I guess. Um, but the just the way that it works, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. The green glow may not be as pronounced. You can see it here in a couple of other spots. Yeah. Um, the box art for the red versions of it, though, so they did kind of a purpley skin and reds and browns for a lot of it, and then, or on this one here, they did like an undead skin tone. Oh, it does. It really does make the model pop. I'm not like so the mace here could have that green glow coming from it, and that's what they were using to shoot that red tint back over that way. It looks like so. Essentially, the face was the same color, or the face is slightly different, but like your mace is that red glow that shoots back towards the abs, to the chest harness, and then to the shoulder plate there, and then it picks up just a little bit on this side with the guy or the his antlers, because you can kind of see it's not showing up here on the side view of it with that red undertone. I don't disagree with you, sir. I'm just finding like talking through what is the source of the green and how it kind of projects back over, because it would help tie in a lot of elements to different pieces on this model. Last piece that we have on him that is not glued down yet is his mace. Wow, I can get it to go. And that's kind of what starts the projection of the OSL. Yeah. It like I can see it and I can discuss it. How do I want it to portray? So, are you so happy now that I've cleaned off a majority of this desk and I'm not immediately shooing you off the desk? Did you want to say hello? What's that? Well, hi. How are you? Am I in your way? Hmm? We don't nuzzle on things. If you want to be on the desk, I will let you be on the desk. Oh, you're okay. Sorry, my cat has decided it is time that I give her some amount of attention. And she is still very much in distraught over all of the work that I've done in this office today. I know, it's crazy. I have a space dedicated for me. Yes, you have a 6 foot cat tree right next to my painting area. You have an open window that you don't seem all that interested in right now. Yes. Hello. Hello. Are you feeling upset because I'm not sitting down somewhere? I'm not making loud noises right now. I'm not banging on the wall. I'm not running an impact screw gun. I'm not running a drill. It's all moving stuff around. And I'm actually talking to actual people tonight, not just myself all night. It's crazy. Crazy. So, how are you? Yes. Lay down. Right there in front of you. Can't do any work right now. You want me to turn on your toy again? Is that what it is? Is this turn on the toy? Turn on laser pointer. Solves all problems. And if you're interested, Senior Grim, that is up and running. An FYI. So I acquired a new laser pointer toy that does the self-moving thing in a way to help get it real help, so she would have something to do while it was, because she can be very much a large and in charge boss. It's just that's usually like an indication that I need to give her some attention. So I acquired a new one, and It is doing its job quite well. So when I go downstairs later, oh, nearly 9 o'clock now. And calling it because I still have to do. Look at some anatomically correct shapes. Plays on. We're painting some kiwi brown. Which from Chimera is not a bad base bone color in some regards. I think it does sit kind of well and nice. The starting of a bone tone. Not always going to be my go-to, but she is a 2-year-old. She's quite yet 2 years old. She's calming down. She's calmed down. Caught her slash adopted. Uh, she's been with me for a year now. I was on an extended holiday last week. Yeah, last week for Christmas. I was very grateful when my neighbor could not keep her entertained. But I have the thing called opposable thumbs, so and I can be here all day. Also need to put her on lint so I can put her. That should get. And thank you for the follow. Fire. Thank you for the follow. It means maybe one day I'll paint something. Catch you later, good sir. I usually stream around 6:30 U.S. Eastern time. I tend to go to 8:30, somewhere in there. Consistently Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's Friday tomorrow, Saturday. So take care, enjoy, have fun, rest well. Where did this come from? Random I have on my desk. random crap. All right. I think I'm finding the end of what I set out to do, which was the face, and I have my horns officially glued on. I might put magenta red in the center here. We'll see. But that is a problem for another night. I think time for me to call it. Clean up my brushes. Have a great night. Now with the shelves in the way, the laser pointer becomes even more fun because the shelves obscure the laser pointer. Then she has to chase the laser pointer around a little bit. Wet the brush to put it in the soap. And then I completely forget to put it in the soap. You okay there? Oh, I wish I'd. Alrighty. You all have a great night. Good night. Good fight. I will be streaming again tomorrow around 6:30 again on the Twitch, YouTube, vertical and horizontal. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to